Views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of Vegas AllNet Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.
Hi, I'm Counselor Holly Davis. We're going to be talking about all those topics in society that nobody wants to talk about. We're going to educate, advocate in a delightfully entertaining way, so tell all your friends that need help. So join us every Thursday for a little good medicine at 11 a.m. at Vegas AllNet Radio. Are you pregnant? Call Dr. Katrina Haslett at 702-243-0202. Dr. Katrina Haslett is a member of Women's Health Associates of Southern Nevada and proudly sponsors Good Medicine at Vegas AllNet Radio. Once again, that's Dr. Katrina Haslett at 702-243-0202. Good morning. Under pressure. Welcome to Good Medicine. I'm Holly. Welcome to VegasAllNetRadio.com. Today's program is called Under Pressure.
Ooh.
JPEG, welcome. Thanks for
you.
sitting in with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Oh, happy to be here.
I really am enjoying this. The program is so wonderful. I'm a counselor by trade, a mom, a counselor. I listen to people. I think that's my gift. I can be in a grocery store and people want to tell me their entire life story.
Why is that? What
I guess I have something on my face that says, tell me your deepest, darkest secrets, and I'll listen. I think really it's just people know that I care, perhaps. So, you know, maybe that's a gift that not everybody has the ability to really listen and care about what people have to say. I don't know.
Yeah, there's some people I wouldn't talk to for any reason, yeah.
You don't strike me as that kind of person at all. But Good Medicine is where all good things flow. And like the name of that program because my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was the last chief of the Potawatomis. So I'm from Oklahoma, a lot of Indian folk there, and so they kind of were all pushed down to Oklahoma. And the last chief of the Potawatomis, Abram Burnett, his name was Nanwishma, he who prays with plants. I know this is heavy stuff, right?
Wasn't that Jim Thorpe's tribe as well?
I'm not sure.
Jim Thorpe, the All-American? I thought he was a Potawatomi from Oklahoma.
Well, that would be awesome. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
If anybody else knows, let us know. Is there any people out there who do some research? Let me know. But his first wife was legendary. Her name was Damushkakia, and she was beautiful. Okay, people, even white boys had to shout. They were very excited about Damushkakia. Her name was actually translated, Darling Woman, Good Medicine. Her name was Good Medicine.
Wow.
So I was so excited about this story. I'm like, I know I'm related to her.
That's cool.
I've got to be related. Well, even though her beauty and strength was matchless throughout the region, and many men asked for her hand in marriage and even committed suicide if she wouldn't marry them. She married the chief, Chief Burnett. But she died. She died before they had children, so it broke my heart. So everything that I do, the books that I write, my business, it's all called Good Medicine Ranch. And it's an ethereal place where all good things flow. So everything that I put my hands to is in her name and honoring her legend. Because I won't let somebody whose name is Darling Woman, Good Medicine.
Yeah.
We're not going to let that go.
How could you let that go to waste?
We're not going
just,
to.
Excuse me for interrupting, but quick question. How many books have you written?
I've written one book, and I'm working on several. And you can go to my website, and it's www.goodmedicineranch.com, and on the website my blog is on there. You can buy the book. You can just upload it and buy it. I think it's $5.95. You can see my Zumba schedule and of course the radio show program schedule.
Cool.
So
What's the name of the book?
It's actually called Tonkiai. And Tonkiai is a family friend of ours, and he's a patriarch for American Indians. He really is. He's the one that's pretty much made the powwows and gathering of Indian people what it is today. A celebration, a circle of friends, and have much, much meaning and culturally very relevant. And he happened to be a very good friend of my family.
Cool.
And so I called him one day, and I was carrying my fourth child, and I said, hey, I want an Indian name. And it was right at the same time that my mother passed and his daughter passed. They were best friends. And I wanted to call and give condolences. I just needed connection.
Yeah.
If your mother leaves you way before you're ready, which there's never a time that you don't need your mom, but I was pretty young. And I just kind of felt like a lonely person on the planet. So I did a lot of research and wanted some connection. And so I called Tonkiai. And so Tonkiai asked him for a Indian name. He gave me the Indian name. And then I asked him, I said, hey, your life story is pretty amazing. And I know you have a lot of folktales, Indian folktales that are ancient, secret folktales that have been passed on from generation to generation. And I want to tell those stories to my children. Can I write your story, and can you give me those folktales? And he said, absolutely. So we went on a vision quest to seek and get connection, and he gave me a lifetime of his work, and we wrote it in this book here. And so
Okay, so now I have to read it.
you have to read it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
That's
an amazing
cool.
book. What a journey. So Tonkiai, that book is there. It's my first book, and I have a lot more other ideas that I want for books, but you can buy it right there. At
I think we
Good
got somebody
Medicine
on the
Ranch.
phone.
Great. Hi, this is Holly. Phil from Maryland.
Hi, this is Phil from Maryland. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm just calling in to tell you I'm looking forward to today's show. I listened to your first show last week. I thought it was great about depression. And this week, I can't wait to hear what you got to say about handling pressure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could use some of that.
Anybody have any stress or pressure? Any anxiety? Stress. Is that what...
Well, I go through stress every day.
We all do. We all do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And we're going to get into the topic right now. Thanks for calling.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what is stress? What is anxiety? Everybody know what stress and anxiety really, we know what when we don't have peace. The best definition ever. You know when you don't have peace. You know when you're stressed out, right?
Yep.
So for me as a counselor, I can only see people one-on-one, one person at a time. So that's why this program is so important, so that we can, on a grander scale, explain what anxiety is, educate, advocate, and maybe give some treatment.
I might want to take one step back, and where you say, you know when you're not at peace. I've found, and this is just me personally, that if I'm stressed out or anxious or whatever, in the moment I don't realize it. It's once you've got past that, then you go, oh wow, man, I was really stressed out. So how do you deal with that?
That's a great question, JPEG. Great. I'm so glad you came on the show today with me. It's a great
I didn't have anything
question.
else to do, and I thought it might be a relief of pressure that I'm under. So.
Absolutely. Under pressure, listen to the words of the song. It's one of the best songs ever to really clarify being under pressure. Every one of us, we are pressured. We are running, a million miles per hour with our hair on fire, and we've got so many things to do that we're distracted. So really, when you look back and you see how stressed out you are, my job is to have you, when you're going through the fire, when you're going through crisis, when you're going through panic, to be aware. You're stressing out when you can't get your fingers unclutched and it's in a fist and you have to, and when you can't breathe, and when you have bated breath and the nostrils are flaring and you're sweating. Your body is going to give you indication, but your feelings, when you feel, going to go back to my favorite word, achy, and you're stressed out and you're shaking, well, I'm sure it's not just the coffee, it's not just the stress, it's pressure, but we've found a way in our culture to avoid those feelings. We don't want to think about it, look at it. We're not going to go there. We'll just anesthetize ourselves. So we'll just go have another cup of coffee. We'll just keep on trucking. And I like the tenacity. I'm not saying, hey, stop and just freeze and don't move forward, but assessing almost every single minute, every hour of the day, assessing, and then taking little breaks in between the day to assess. That was kind of stressful going through the traffic and the improvements in Las Vegas. And it was, and I was running late and I didn't give myself enough time and 5 people called me, and that's pressure. That is stress. And when you're not breathing and your face is red and you feel drained, but we've literally gotten to a point, for me, myself, I can speak for myself, that you don't even feel it anymore. You just keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
You're not paying attention. So that's a great question.
Yeah, and I found that to be true this morning when I was coming to the studio and had a lot of things on my mind, and I realized that I had probably gone 10 minutes past where I was intending to go. And I just pulled up to the light, and the light turned red, and I stopped, and I realized, what the heck? How did I get here? And I didn't even realize, I was just everything around me was so blanked out, and I was like gripping the steering wheel, and it was just like, yeah, So, yeah, this is a good day for me to be here.
It's called being on autopilot, and there's no one out there who's listening. There's no one that we know that doesn't do that. We
good.
zone out. We're on adrenaline rush at all times. And so to actually take the time to stop, meditation, analyze, awareness, just stop. You know that you have anxiety, and we'll go into some of the different key elements that we can recognize anxiety. But you know that you have anxiety when those kinds of things happen,
Yeah.
when you're so distracted. You can't even have a conversation. You feel discombobulated. Use that in a sentence today, okay? When you feel discombobulated, when you just feel so out of sorts, you're just spread so thin, you're confused, you're clumsy, you forgot things, you forgot where you were going, you're not on target,
Yeah.
you're not on focus, and that's just really, there's no way you can have an optimal life if you're suffering with those kinds of symptoms and you ignore it. And I'm not just saying today you ignored it, I'm saying day after day, year after year. It could be years that you've been avoiding the
Would-
stress.
Let me ask you, if being on the other side of that and seeing, someone that you know or one of your loved ones going through that, how do you help them calm down or relax, or what can we do, not only for ourselves but seeing someone else go through that, and how do we deal with that, and how do we say, chill out, dude,
Another great question.
without
Two
getting
pegs
punched
on
in the eye?
fire. Great question. And I would say the most important key to getting other people to calm down is probably not to say, chill, why are you tripping? What's your problem?
And that's what we tend to do.
We tend to do that, or even, are you okay? Are you all right?
I hate that one.
Everyone
I
hates
hate
that.
that one.
Are you okay? Really, the best way, and you know this if you're a parent, is if you're calm and you're relaxed, the whole rest of the atmosphere will be relaxed. Any commander in any army knows if you're leading through a war and there is a tornado going around us, a storm, a battle, if I'm calm, everybody else is going to take my cue. Everybody else is
That's
going to
good.
take my cue. And how do you find calm in the storm? We're going to talk about that coming up. We're also going to talk about some for sure signs of stress. How you know you're stressed. What is anxiety? So you have to stay with us to find out how to be calm during
For sure.
storm. Medicine. I'm Holly Davis. I'm a counselor here in Las Vegas, and we are talking today about being under pressure. Anxiety, stress. I'll tell you what'll stress you out. Getting the RJ here if you're local in Las Vegas, and you see right here on the front page, hospitals see more mentally ill youth. Recent suicide in Clark County to be examined. And so the story is, it's really, it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
Talk about anxiety and stress and all the other feelings. It's sickening. It's horrifying. There was a little girl, 14 years old, and she committed suicide in school.
That just breaks my heart.
It's a heartbreaking. And I think the word that we can search for, that really to put your finger on the pulse of what this conversation is about today, is being overwhelmed. And being overwhelmed for a long period of time. It's not a matter of if, but when something's going to happen in your body. High blood pressure, you name it. All of the illnesses that we have, you can trace back to one of the things: overeating, over drinking, all the things that we do, some of the isms can be traced back to that feeling of being overwhelmed. And I think it's more in our culture than it ever has been, because we're not doing as much physically. We are not doing as much mentally, just actually taking the time away from all the beta and the data that's going on to think and get clear. We're inundated with thoughts and media and multitasking, where we never get a chance, if we're sleeping at night,
Yeah.
we never get a chance to calm down. And those are some of the key elements that that you're overwhelmed, stressed, panic attacks, anxiety and stress. And one of the key elements is when you're not sleeping. When you're not sleeping at night and you can't get to sleep because you can't stop your thoughts, you know you have anxiety, okay? When you clench your teeth at night, which I believe one of the statistics that I heard was 3 out of 5 people clench their teeth at night, and that is just sheer stress and anxiety. I think some of the other things that you know that you have anxiety is when your fists are clenched like this, and if you're having a panic attack, from what I understand, your toes and your feet are literally curled up and you can't move them. Sometimes you're stunted and stifled from just the sheer adrenaline, stress, anxiety, that fight or flight system that our bodies are on. And then of course when those kinds of things happen, we deteriorate. We eat too much. Definitely some of the isms and vices that people use that will make them sicker, that's what they go to. So what I like to teach is healthy coping skills. Now, they don't teach this in church. They don't teach it in school. Where do you learn healthy coping skills? Free for you today, listening out there, free coping skills. Some of the things that I use. First of all, are there any that you have, healthy coping skills that you know takes you from high pressure to just calming down?
I think the thing that works best for me is music. There's a couple of artists that I like when I'm really stressed out. I can put the headphones on and turn on the Moody Blues, and they kind of help bring me down. Since I don't do drugs and alcohol and cigarettes anymore, that's about all I got left. So, but yeah, and it's try to. One of my defense mechanisms is my sense of humor, and if that doesn't work, then just get the hell out and go hang out in my bedroom for a little while and read or something like that. But I think the music is helpful to me.
Once again, nailed it. That is absolutely positively.
I'm not getting paid for this, by the way.
That's absolutely positively one of my favorite therapies is music therapy. And I actually use music therapy. I do work with a lot of kids, starting from age 6 all the way through the teens, and I really enjoy working with them. They're so open. They are ready to learn, and they like listening to me, and I like listening to them, and they know that. I'm sorry, parents, don't feel offended, but kids don't listen to you as much as they do outside influences. Really, the home is a big influence on your child's life, but outside influence...
More than we realize.
Much more.
More than we want to admit sometimes.
Very powerful is outside influence, and so having a good positive influence, so they like to talk. And I use music therapy all the time. Music therapy is great. Another thing you mentioned is anger. Sometimes we get angry, and we get irritable, and we don't recognize that is also just our stress and tension that we don't know what else to do with. And another very unhealthy thing that most people do is we isolate. We go lock ourselves in the room.
Yep.
Go hide away. La 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 la. I don't hear you. I don't see you.
That's exactly right.
I don't want to deal with this.
Yep.
So Betty, I believe, is on the line right now. Maybe she has a question for us. Hi, Betty. How are you?
Hi. Doing good. I'm a big fan of Holly, the counselor.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, I was calling because what you were saying prompted me to remember that when I was younger, I think I really struggled with stress a lot more because I did not know the skills to change my perception about a stressful situation. So I, stayed in this prolonged state of stress, and that probably continued through my early adulthood. But then I realized, part of coping in life is to have the ability to respond quicker to stressful situations, and actually that response is changing my perception. So I was wondering, what is some good triggers that you recommend to change? I heard you just talk about music, but what are some other keys in changing your perception about a situation that is coming on, you see it coming, or you're in the midst of it? What are some triggers that you recommend?
That's a great question, Betty. That is a great question. Anxiety, recognizing it. I think recognizing the triggers and just knowing yourself and making sure you take that time to evaluate yourself. I kind of liken it to a volcano. You know the smoke is coming. You feel the rumbling. This is not just with anger or depression, but especially with anxiety. You know that some things are coming up that are very stressful, perhaps, or you know that you've just gone through some very stressful things. Some of the top things, death, new job, new car, moving, you name it, those kinds of things at school, parenting, marriage, even sometimes just friendships. Just sometimes another thing is when it comes to crisis and recognizing it, your crisis is different than my crisis.
Yeah.
A teenager's crisis is completely different. Their crisis is a bad hair day, right?
Yeah, and it's like, what?
Yeah, so recognizing that and then having the go-to. So it's a great question, Betty, and I teach kids this all the time. You need to have a plan and layers of plans when you're feeling this way. Layer plan A, call your best friend forever. BFF. Love my BFFs. You guys are the best. If you didn't have 5 to 10 people that you can call on the bat line, get some. How do you get some? That's a different show altogether. But finding people that are reciprocal friends that give as much as you give and take as much as you take, and they pour into your lives. They love you. They got your back. They support you. That is an amazing thing right there. So recognizing people in your life that are safe, that you can talk to. Because we're humans. Isolating is not okay. No man is an island, and we need each other. As iron sharpens iron, we've got to have people who have our back. If you don't have one and you're completely isolated, that's a flag right there. You're headed for bad news. You're headed for more illness, more sickness. So having friends to bring you out, that's one of the great things that you can do. Having somebody to talk to that might be on a professional level. Talking to a therapist who's a neutral in your life. There's no judgment. It's somebody that you can just process everything that you're going through, and maybe you can come up with some solutions with a good rah-rah, a good cheerleader. Everybody needs a good cheerleader, encouraging people. Mentors, people you look up to. Do you have people that you actually look up to?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
And you know, when I ask teenagers, it's frightfully, it's no. It's absolutely. They say no. I don't have a teacher, pastor, nobody, a neighbor, nobody.
And that's an interesting point, because I was thinking about this the other day because of a conversation I had. And growing up, for me, and I know this sounds corny, but it really was Superman, Batman, the comic books. Because,
superheroes.
Yeah, because it was truth, justice, in the American way. I mean, they were the ideal of goodness and right and all of that. And today, our heroes or superheroes are actually anti-heroes. So there's so much negativity in that whole situation that it's hard. It's, you know, you used to look up to the president. And anymore, politicians are just more a part of the problem than they are the solution. So I really do feel for kids today that don't have some kind of a hero or somebody to look up to that is a positive role model.
And their parents. I'm so glad Betty called. I don't know if, Betty, are you still there? No? I'm so glad you called, because even as a kid, I know that kids are always looking for people that they can look up to and having that person that they can talk to. Did you have anybody as a kid that you could actually go to when you're feeling those feelings?
Probably no.
Probably no. And I get that a lot. Thank you so much for your call. Being your own hero, I'm a huge advocate of that. Being somebody that other people could look up to it's great. I mean, to be an example for other people and an inspiration of other people, that's a beautiful thing. But counting on yourself and getting yourself out of that stress and that panic and that crisis is a beautiful thing. And I lean on myself to do that. And there's ways that I do that. And I teach my friends that, I teach my children that, and it's all about your environment. So some of the things, and I'll just give you a few things, and then we'll go into a break, and I'll give you my hot list of things. They're go-tos. It could be minute by minute. And especially what I do, I see a lot of clients weekly, and you hear so many stories and you hear so much stress and there's so much anxiety. So I have to take care of myself. You know, you've heard that that thing, if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anyone else. And that's true. So I think one of the highest forms of health is self-care. Being healthy, having healthy coping skills, taking care of yourself. And to be your own best hero, you better take care of you, because nobody's knocking down the door.
Yep.
Nobody's calling and saying, hey, how can I help you today to have an optimal life, and how can I support you in that? It's usually people wanting you
Yeah.
to help them. So that's why it's so important for you to take care of yourself. We're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. For
Cool.
Under Pressure. Thanks for listening to Good Medicine. Welcome back to Good Medicine. I'm Counselor Holly Davis, and I would like to thank our title sponsor, Dr. Katrina Haslett. What an empowering, wonderful woman. She's awesome. And if you're pregnant, she coddles you, she takes care of you, she's awesome. That's what you need when you're pregnant. I'm a big believer of taking care of yourself, being coddled. And if you have to do it yourself, that's great. But yours also, it's a really good thing to find other people in your life that contribute, that are not just taking, but people who encourage you and lift you up. And so that's pretty much what this program is about, Good Medicine, where all things flow.
And that's good advice, and I think this is just my perception. I could be full of crap. Probably am, but I think women are very good at doing that, or can do it easier than men can. Men tend to, and I'm just speaking for myself, you take a woman who'll go in and say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to take the next 30 minutes, I'm going to take a bubble bath, I'm going to, pamper myself and, just leave me alone. Where maybe the men's version of that is, I'm going out in the garage and I'm going to build something, I'm going to work on my car or whatever. I don't, is that, do you think that's correct?
Another great point. Nailing it today, JPEG, nailing it. I'm going
to get my license next week.
You really should. We need you as a therapist. We could use some good male therapists. That is a great point, because I know for women, I could be at the grocery store, and if I see a bouquet of flowers that I love, I'm just going to go get it. I'm going to buy myself some. I'm not going to wait for anybody to take care of my emotional needs. It's just uplifting. Flower therapy. I'm going to wear the colors that make me feel happy. I don't think men really think they're thinking about big picture thing and the little things. I think that's kind of women. We're always thinking about a million different things, and so thinking
just
about self-care,
getting through to the end of the week is a man thing. If I can do that, I'm a success.
Right, and not thinking about how I feel emotionally today.
Right.
And really, even with mental health, it's just not anything that society really focuses on. That's why we say in our commercial here, in our promo for the shows, it thinks society doesn't want to talk about. Do men actually sit and think about, I'm feeling anxious today, I have depression, I'm feeling like a panic attack is coming on? And perhaps they do. Maybe there's some good, healthy coping skills for them that they do, hanging out with their buds, watching football, watching sports. That's always a good one. Video games, that's a huge one. Now, I'm going to say I'm not a big fan of video games.
I can understand that.
Did you hear
No.
I am not a big fan of video games. There's a lot of research that's been done that it really desensitizes children. It causes a lot of disconnection. Kids, are really, especially boys, I really am concerned about boys ages, even 10 all the way up to 24, not having a lot of direction, spending a lot of time on the video games, and that's a lot of time. I mean, how many hours a week are you playing violent video games? And how much production and fruitfulness in your life is showing up from it? And I'm saying I don't see a lot.
Yeah.
The children that I work with that I feel have the most disconnection is the kids that play lots and lots and lots of video games. And so with moderation, that can be a great way to zone out, and Facebook can be a great way to zone out. For me, I have to have things in my life that are contributing. So I don't watch television. I try not to do too much Facebook. I do that for networking and keeping in contact with friends, which is healthy. But hours of Instagram, that's hours on the phone, having anxiety if you don't know where your phone is.
Right.
There's your clue.
Yeah.
So I don't know what could be some other things that men, if there's any men out there that have any ideas of what healthy coping skills are for when you have anxiety, when you have stress.
I don't know if it's healthy or not, but I do know right up on the end of Decatur, North Decatur, is a new shooting park that was built just about 2 years ago. They finished, and it's the largest shooting park in the country, a recreational shooting park, and it's always packed.
Well,
and I mean, most of the people up there are men, but there are a lot of women too, and I don't know, maybe that's an offshoot of the video game.
You know, I think bottom line, men love recreation. They love to play. Remember when you're a little boy?
Oh, yeah.
What do little boys want to do? That's all they want to do.
Right.
They'll go to school and do as much work as they have to. They will do
Right.
their chores if
Just
they can
enough to
play.
get by.
If they can play.
Right.
They just want to play.
Yep.
Play from the second that they wake up.
Yeah, I
until
never
the time
got
they
over
go
that.
to bed.
Yeah.
Well, deep down, inherently, we still want those things. We want recreation and play and fun. And so whatever is fun for dudes, you know, getting outside, fishing, hunting, hanging out with your buds, being ridiculous, laughing.
I've finally reached a point in my life, and it's taken a long time, to where my job is what I love doing now. I mean, I'm doing what I love doing as a job. So it took a long time to get here. So it's not a job. It's something that I'm coming here and doing every day at the station. You know, with the pictures and the video. I had to go downtown this morning, get some shots of the Mob Museum, and yeah, God, I gotta fight all that traffic and stuff. But so what? It was something that I enjoy doing. So it's not a job. It's not work. And any time you can get into something like that, that's gold. To me, that's even with all the stress and everything that you know, to get to this point, it's worth it. It's worth it.
True.
That's my therapy. At the end of the day, I'm exhausted, but it's worth it.
That's a blessing. That is a blessing when
It
you
is,
when you
yeah.
enjoy what you do. That really takes a lot of the stress out. However, I'm a big proponent of also taking time to do some coping skills, self-care when you're exhausted like that, and dichotomize and do something completely and totally different. Last time you had fun. Now let's keep it clean. Last time that you had fun and laughed so hard and that your stomach hurt. That's good medicine.
Yeah, it's been
Laughing.
quite a while.
Enjoying.
quite a while, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Enjoying.
And even though I'm enjoying what I do, but I understand that laugh out loud, that just
Kid
you know,
around,
yeah.
boyish fun
Yep.
stuff that you guys do. Now, girls, we talk to our girls. La 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 la. You know, I talk to my girls. Right?
I have a friend that I've known since the 5th grade. So we grew up together, went to high school together, joined the Marine Corps together. You know, so we've been there, done that. And he's one of those people that if I'm really having a bad time, I just call him up. You know, 5-minute conversation. Hey, what's going on? Having a shitty day, man. Yeah, I can dig it. Blah blah blah. You know, and it's just that connection, because I know he's been there, he's done that, he understands, and it's you know, we talked earlier about, or we did off the air, about the PTSD, and because he understands it and he's been there, it's like an immediate kind of like a you know, so finding that someone, I think, is important, and it's a great reliever.
Refreshing.
Yeah, and there's no judgment there. He's not saying, oh, well, you should do this or you should do that. He just, yeah, man, I know, I can dig it, you know. So
And he doesn't dig, probably. He's
no,
not digging
no,
in
not at
further.
all. He knows. I'll tell him what I want him to hear, and he does the same thing for me. I'll get a call from him at 2:00 in the morning. You know, man, I can't sleep. Remember this and remember that, and oh yeah, and you know, so. Yeah,
That's refreshing.
that's good therapy, and it is, you know, and it's hard to find people like that.
It is hard.
Because a lot of people, and I think we're all afraid of this. They're judgmental. If you share too much, you're afraid they'll use it against you at some point in time. Can't tell them that, you know, and especially in a relationship, that's tough. So
You know what? You
Sorry,
bring
didn't
up,
mean to-
no, you bring up some really good points. For one, I would want to just say that when you're stressed out like that, that is one thing you don't want to do, is talk to those people that are naggers, that are
Yeah.
energy zappers, emotional vampires, the people that just
I
take
like
your
that.
energy away, and you know who they are. The
Yeah.
people you can't have on speakerphone because you
Yep.
just don't know how much drama they have had. That's not who you want to talk to.
Yep.
When you are elevated emotionally and you need to defrag, we call it baseline, when you just need to get chill, calm down, relax. That is not what you do. And another thing is, you know, like you were saying, that you don't want people to think you're crazy because you have anxiety or stress. Let me just tell you, 86% of the population, that's one of the last statistics I saw in research, has anxiety symptoms they are suffering from anxiety, nightmares, flashbacks. That's part of PTSD as well.
Yep.
You can't stop thoughts. There's things you don't want to think about, and you'll do anything and everything to not think about those things. And I believe that facing those things is a big part of healing. And, truth revealed is like, clouds over a dirty city. Let's just get them out. Let's get the sunshine in. Let's look at them for a minute. And I'm not saying let's go forcefully, but let's look at the paper. Let's look at the page on the book. Let's look at the situations and the things that you've gone through and accept. Let's look at it, because sometimes you're thinking it's going to be really painful to take that Band-Aid off. And sometimes when you look at it, you go, okay, you know what? I survived a lot. I've been through a lot, and I made it.
Yeah.
I made it. Look how far I've come. And I'm going to accept that. I'm going to accept that. No, it wasn't right. Everybody's been through hard times. Talk about under pressure, pressing down. We've all had dark, dark times. But guess what? Look how far I'm now. And now I'm going to turn the page. Now I'm going to move on. I'm a big fan of moving on. If people need to explain their life story and tell me what's happened, I'm there to listen. They have a voice, and that's very healing as well. But my objective is a strength-based approach of let's move on. And I give small examples of things that you can do every single day to do some self-care, to get yourself well. This can work for male or female, but one thing, there's a huge conference coming up, and it's called Health, Healing, and Happiness, June the 12th through 14th at the Tuscany Suites in Las Vegas. Who wouldn't want to go to a conference called Health, Healing, and Happiness? I mean, and I'll give you the phone number too if that's something.
I heard there
that
was
you're
going to be
interested in.
cake.
There might be some cake.
Cool.
If there's cake, I'm there.
Yeah, me too.
You don't want to miss it. Lots of guest speakers. It looks like an amazing event. So the number is 702-942-9401. And it's Health, Healing, and Happiness. And the event coordinator for that is going to actually be a guest on one of our shows coming up.
Cool.
So you don't want to miss that.
Just Tuscany over on Flamingo, right?
Yes,
Just off the strip?
yes, to the
That's a
Tuscany
great
Suite.
little place. I've been to a couple of events there, or conventions type stuff, and they've got a nice it's a nice, comfortable atmosphere. It's not like some of the big casinos and hotels that I try to avoid. So-
Relaxing, healthy. Yeah, if you're stressed out, you don't want to go down to the Las Vegas Strip. Let me tell you right now.
Unless you're
okay?
going to stand in front of the fountains at Bellagio.
Okay, water. That's a nailed it again. That's another thing. Negative ions with water. Taking a shower, taking a bubble bath, having a little water fountain. I know in my office I have a little water fountain, and the kids love it. No kid can resist going and putting their finger in the water fountain. Just childlike fun. Everybody.
There's a
loves
couple of
water
places in town where they have the little fountains in the pavement, where the water shoots up, and in the summertime the kids are out there playing. And I've always, every time I've seen one, it's like I got to stop and watch, because the kids just love it.
It's a happiness.
And I so want to just jump in the middle of it.
Do it someday.
I'm going to do it someday.
Do it. Jump in at
and
the
hopefully I
town
won't
square.
get arrested. If I get arrested, I'm going to call you for bail money. So
You're going to say, I was a healthy coping skill. Holly told me to go jump in, play like a kid in the water.
said I should do this.
And you know what? Water, ocean. Why does everybody pay millions and millions of dollars to live by the ocean, on Golden Pond, sitting by water, just looking at water, drinking water? Huge fan of water. Nailed it on that one. Investing in yourself, like the Health, Healing, and Happiness conference coming up June 12th through the 14th in Las Vegas. That's huge. Buying books, videos, things that elevate your mood. Reflexology. There's a little trick that I do. If you'll just put your thumb at the base of your hand and rub all the way up to your pinky. This is real reflexology, by the way. Not one of those the good feet reflexology that we have in Las Vegas. A lot of hurting souls in this town, I tell you. But you can rub just right there on your hand. I mean, this beats smoking a cigarette any day, or popping the bubble gum, or popping your knuckles, or whatever. Chewing your nails, whatever the things that we do when we're stressed out. And it just calms you down. Automatically, just rubbing your palm, or even taking your thumb and anywhere on your hand that you feel pain, rub it out.
And I think you're right there, because I know that I will do this when I get stressed. I got this kind of a thing.
You need lotion too, by the way. I'm just going to say.
Tell me about it.
Males out there, you need some lotion with lavender. I'm a big, huge fan of lavender. massage.
And that's funny because that you should say that, because it was one of our network meetings on Tuesday morning, and there was a young lady there who has oils and stuff like that.
Essential oils.
And that was essential oils, and that was her little topic for that day, was the lavender oil and all the benefits of that. And I'm going, wow, I didn't know that. I just thought it was something that smells good.
No. Well, people have been using, herbs and flowers and
I used to use
medicinal
herbs.
recipes.
Yeah.
Well, but you didn't inhale those herbs, did you?
No.
He was just playing with them. But those medicinal properties, people have used them for thousands of years for a reason, because it's calming. And even if it's not, okay, I'll just say, even if it's really not, and it's got the placebo effect, you're telling your body, when you use these coping skills, I need to calm down. I just need to stop. And you have that ability. Every human has that ability to stop thoughts, to stop the ugly emotions that are plaguing them. You can change your thought process anytime you want. You don't have to be stuck. You might have a bad habit of anxiety, a bad habit of anger, freaking out, melting down. I'm just freaking out. That's a nasty, nasty habit, and I'm here to tell you that you can stop that habit. And of course, it's treatable, even if it's severe anxiety, panic attacks. PTSD is one of the highest forms. There is medical treatment, and there's also, which I believe has to be combined with therapy. I'm not a medical doctor, but I believe that if you have to take a pill because your life is disordered from anxiety, you have to have therapy along. And we're going to come back from the break, and I'm going to give you my golden hot list that I use every single day. It's free for you today.
Cool.
Free for you today. I'm going to give you my secrets to staying healthy and being calm.
I love secrets.
I'm going to tell you the secrets. Stay with us on Good Medicine.
This is our last dance. This is ourselves under pressure.
You know I'm singing along with that one.
And it's funny, I always thought that was David Bowie.
It is David Bowie with Queen.
With Queen, okay.
Mercury,
all right. Yeah, 'cause I heard you say Queen, and I thought, it's David Bowie.
Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. What a great collabo there.
Wow.
What a great song. I love every word. That's my power song.
That's like Kiki D and Elton John.
Kind of, but not really. What's that song? Don't go breaking my heart. I thought you were going to sing. No. Under Pressure. It's a great song. I like that song because it really does describe so much what people are feeling, being overwhelmed, and that is nothing new to men. Welcome to Good Medicine. I'm Counselor Holly Davis. I almost said my maiden name. What in the world?
Harley Davidson?
Holly Davis. I am a counselor here in Las Vegas, and if you ever need to get a hold of me to make an appointment, or if I can find somebody for you, it's 702-626-9400. I would be happy to help you. That is my privilege. That is my joy. That is my service to human beings, is to say that you are not crazy. You are okay. It is treatable if you're experiencing being overwhelmed, stressed out, feeling, like you just can't go on. There's a part in that song that says, people just want to jump off the train, and that's what's happening here in the Las Vegas RJ Review Journal, talking about a young girl, 14 years old, whose body was found in her high school. She took her own life. That is the greatest sense of overwhelming that I can't go on. I'm here to say today, Winston Churchill said, never, 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 never give up. Do not give up. Keep going. And to think that this doesn't affect people, we're in the dark ages when it comes to mental illness. One of the quotes in the paper said, this is the polio of our era. It's pandemic. Everybody has stress, even children. So what do you do about it? How do you recognize it? It is, you can't sleep. You're bated breath. You're not breathing deeply. Your face is red. You are exhausted. You are confused. Everything, you're being bombarded with emotions that we're zoning out. So 1, being aware of anxiety. 2, some of the things that I do that are good, healthy coping skills are having layers of people and places that you can go when you need to defrag, when you need to chill out. Sometimes just going along on a vision quest, going and getting some fresh air, being outside, looking at birds, listening to the nature, just being aware of nature and what it's doing. It's just doing what it's supposed to be doing. And sometimes we're doing too much and just saying, stop, I've got to stop. So taking that time to assess how you're feeling that day, taking time, even if it was 60 seconds, to just breathe and not have any thoughts. 60 seconds in this culture would be a lifetime. And if you just did that once a day of stopping thoughts and just being aware of your breathing is one of the best things you could do, and build up every day to that stopping thoughts. For me, I'm a lavender junkie. I carry my lavender everywhere I go in my little medicine bag. Okay, I have a little medicine bag of my lavender, and hey, it's much better than smoking. I just, breathe it in. I like the smell, and it calms me down. And if I don't have it, I've learned to calm myself down. So my self-talk is not negative. Everything's awful, awfulizing. It's going to be awful. It's going to be scary. Stopping those thoughts and thinking about what I do want to happen, not what I don't. And there's other things that we can do to help us to get the thinking right. I teach little kids about rational bear. Sometimes I have to go there with adults. Rational bear. There's an irrational bear, and there's a rational bear on your shoulder. Irrational bear is always saying, oh my gosh, that's going to be scary. Everybody's looking at you. No one likes you. That's, oh my gosh, that test, you're going to bomb it. And rational bear says, yeah, you know what? You studied. You're going to do fine. Let's breathe through it. You got this. Vision that A, and let's do this. So rational thinking, because a lot of times anxiety is just awfulizing. It's just really letting your mind kick your butt. And I'm a big proponent of not allowing your thoughts to bombard your life, because if your thinking is hyper emotional, then your life is going to display it. That's just all there is to it. So things that I do, I have a favorite store that I go to. It's called Gina. It's right behind the Dunkin' Donuts and the Walgreens on Rainbow and Tropicana, and it's just healing the minute you walk in. Talk about essential oils and different, and just, she is very healing, and everything in her store she's picked out specifically just for healing. Different teas, beautiful jewelry, things that make me happy. And that's important. Happy. Yeah. Happiness is, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Being happy is a great thing. Other things that make me very, very happy are my friends, my family, my children make me very happy. Animals. My dog Charlie is,
great therapy.
Great therapy.
Man.
Horses. That's great therapy. Even they say fish tanks are great therapy. Being creative. Coloring. When's the last time you colored?
I'd rather not answer that.
One of the most...
But I have my own version of coloring.
Okay.
So
painting, anything creative, singing to the top of your lung on the way to work, that will get your power song on.
I love that, yeah.
Sing to the top of your lungs. Reflexology. One of the books that I use all the time, and I recommend it, it's changed my life, is The 4 Agreements. Not taking things personally. Don't assume that person cut you off because they hate you. That's irrational bear. Really, they might be on their way to, if they're late again for work, they might get fired. So don't take things personally. The other thing is always do your best. Be impeccable with your word. That means I talk good about myself and I talk good to others. That'll cut half your stress right there. If you just stop lambasting yourself and others, my gosh, you'll be so healthy. For me, I do a lot of exercise. Zumba is my favorite. You can't leave there in a bad mood. I teach Zumba. You can go to my website, www.goodmedicineranch.com, and you can see the schedule. And flowers, color therapy, being around the people and places and things that you want to do in life. If it's a drudgery and you don't like it, there's got to be a reason. So paying attention to those things and not zoning out, not living on autopilot, but facing the anxiety and stress, and do not let it get you down. You have to be your own hero. You have to pull yourself out of it. And there's people along the way that can help you. My name is Holly Davis. I'm a counselor here in Las Vegas. My number is 702-626-9400. If I can help you in any way, I can help you find a therapist in your area. And I'm here in Las Vegas. And I'm right in the medical district at Care Counseling with a great group of people. So if you need any help, please call me.
I'm sorry, where's your office again?
It's in the Medical District, Rancho Medical District, 501 South Rancho Avenue. So if you need help, you can call me, 702-626-9400. I'm Holly Davis. Thanks for listening to Good Medicine. Thanks for being with me today, JPEG.
My pleasure. I learned a lot. Thank you.
Good. That's the point. Thank you, guys.